Dear all, myself Shruti. Today I am here to explain the methods which are available for curing and prevention of COVID-19 virus. So COVID-19 virus has become a very pandemic disease. The why it has become so pandemic is because of its unprecedented speed of its transmission. Like this, there are so many diseases which were available before also, but this has become deadly or pandemic because of its rate of transmission. And we have witnessed from almost 9 months that millions of infections globally, and it has caused to thousands of death. The only way through which this disease spreads is through personal contact. That is, if we come in contact with a person who is already having infection, then it will spread. There are no other ways in which it will spread. And also another thing which created panic amongst the people is every time it is coming up with new things. Initially they were telling that there were some group of people which will be affected by this virus, and later it started spreading to all the age group people. And also initially it was told that it will remain in body for 2 days or up to 2 weeks. Now that timings are also have changed, and the symptoms were, it is not like fixed symptoms. For some people it will be just a common cold, fever, fatigue, some lose the taste and smell. So there are so many symptoms which are emerged now with time. Coming to nature and spread of the virus, there are mixed opinion for this virus. On one hand, we can say that there are so many viruses which are available till today, and it's like any other virus. On the other hand, it is deadly virus. We cannot neglect it as a virus which was already existing, because it is a deadly virus which has created or which has led to death of so many people. So these viruses are called as zoonotic. Zoonotic means the virus have spread from animal to human beings, and now it is spreading from one human being to another human being. The only way through which it is spreading is through respiratory droplets. If you come in contact with the respiratory droplets of the infected person, only then it will spread. Or if that respiratory droplet has fallen somewhere, and if somebody touches it and then touch your mouth, nose or eyes, then we have all the chances of coming in contact with the virus. Coming to its spread, we can say that the more category of people which are suffering or which has become deadly is for older adults, as their immune system will be weak. And also people with certain health conditions like heart problems, kidney related problems, diabetes, and obesity. All these people, like for them it will be very difficult to withstand the viral infection. And of course pregnant women, because they will be delicate, their immune system will not be very strong, and there is all the chance of spreading the virus from woman to baby. So that's why these category of people, they should be very careful. Coming to the treatment methods, till now there are no specific treatment methods which are available. Only drugs or whatever methods we are following is just for managing the symptoms. The only thing to avoid this is through practicing good hygiene and physical distancing. Now you might be understanding the importance of mask and sanitizer, because as I said, it spreads only through respiratory droplets. So only way to avoid respiratory droplets is through mask. And another one is if you touch the droplet where it has fallen, and if you touch your eyes, nose or mouth, then it will spread. So either you have to wash your hands or use sanitizer. So these are the only two methods from which we can avoid coming in contact with the virus. So coming to treatment stages, there are three stages mainly. One is how to stop the virus from entering our body. So if a person, once he comes in contact with the virus, it will definitely enter inside our cell, recombine with our DNA, and then it will replicate in a very fast mode. So our treatment strategy should be towards stopping the virus from entering our body, making our immune system very strong. And another one is, if at all it enters our body, the next step is we have to prevent it from replicating, so that their number will not increase and our body will fight against that virus. At this stage also, if we fail, the next treatment strategy will be at the minimizing the damage it causes to our organs. First and foremost, which gets affected is respiratory system, and then it slowly leads to breathing problems. So there are three strategies where we have to target the virus. One is stopping from entering, another one is preventing the spread or increasing the number of virus inside our body, and minimizing the damage it causes to our body. Now I'll tell you why it is very difficult to develop the treatment strategies, because so far, as I said, there is no particular or specific treatment. It is all to manage the disease. One thing is, virus life cycle is very short. It is very difficult to target virus and stop the reproduction or stop the increasing number of the virus, as its life cycle is very small. And another one is, it is highly adaptive. That means it can adjust to any type of environment, and it will mutate its external protein structure. What you have seen, it will be mutating according to every time, and also it becomes resistant to any drugs. So it is very difficult to develop a drug for a virus. So now, which are the drugs which are we are using to overcome this disease is like anti-inflammatory drugs to reduce the pain, and corticosteroids, which will help to give strength to the respiratory system, and in few cases anti-malarial drugs like hydroxychloroquine, anti-SARS, which is used for SARS disease, remdesivir, or HIV drug, which are all antiviral drugs, hoping that to some extent these drugs can avoid the reproduction of the virus. And on the other hand, we are using vitamin D, vitamin C tablets to increase the immunity and also help body to withstand the infection. Other than these drugs, the other treatment method available is through giving plasma, that is convalescent plasma. In this case, what happens is, the person, those who have already overcome the infection, their body will be producing antibodies against these virus. So from the recovered patient's blood, we can collect the antibodies in the plasma, which will provide immunity to others. That means that antibodies can be injected to others' body, and it will help to provide immune, or they will become immune to the disease. We might have heard about a recent disease where platelets were given. In the similar way, here plasma can be given, which contains antibodies. So with this, again, we cannot control the disease. Only thing what we can do is, those who have low immunity, for them this plasma can be given, and the severity of the disease in them can be reduced. And this plasma plasma collected from one person can be used to treat 3 patients. So this also have few drawbacks. One is that person from whom we are collecting the plasma should be having enough antibody levels, and the person from whom we are collecting and to whom we are giving should be having compatible blood types, and we also have to take care whether that person has got any other infectious diseases. And last and the most awaiting one is vaccines. development of the vaccine. Why there are so many pros and cons with the vaccines? It is not at all easy to develop a vaccine. Usually it takes 15 to 20 years to develop a vaccine, effective vaccine. So here in this case what happens is, once the vaccine is developed, it helps any individual to acquire the immunity. That means artificially we will be giving the we will be telling the body to develop the antibodies and make the person ready to fight against this virus. So this vaccine, it trains the immune system before the infection of the virus and it keeps ready. So what happens is, we can, if for one person we have given the vaccine, that person will be having all the efficiency to fight against that virus, and through him the others also will get the immunity. That is called herd immunity. Vaccines will be taking so much of time because it has to, once we develop the virus, it has to go through preclinical testing on animals and also different phases of clinical trials. It is not at all easy to bring a vaccine into market, because once if it shows any adverse effect, the whole community will be suffering. And doses also should be finalized. There are some cases wherein if you give one dose for that particular individual, it will be sufficient to produce antibodies. If they are weaker people, like old or diseased people, for them we might give again booster doses. So all this should be decided. And also we have to make sure that it is completely effective to stop this disease, stop spreading of this disease. Most important thing is we have to take care of toxicity, because that there will be few people who will be taking regular medicines for blood pressure, diabetes and all. So we also have to check whether it has any adverse effect or toxicity with those drugs. Then once a vaccine passes all these stages, then a license should be taken and the cost should be set. So how actually vaccine works is, see, if we inject a vaccine is nothing but the same kind of virus which will be in a very weak form. It cannot infect our body, or it cannot increase its number in our body. So once they come as a foreign body, we will direct our body, or our body will automatically produce antibodies to fight against these invaders. So you can see the number of antibodies formed here is more. So in this case, our body will be having antibodies to destroy any actual virus comes in contact with our body. So how a attenuated or how a artificial inactive virus can be produced is either, like, there should be it should be such that it should mimic the actual COVID virus. So it should be having a viral vector, some defected, you can see the defected protein, and like wherein the RNA will be converted to DNA and then used as vaccine, or virus like particles will be given, or any protein part will be targeted and given, or it will be inactivated. We can take in any of these cases wherein this virus will be having capacity to infect, but not at the extent of the original virus. See, what happens is, once we decide all these things, then we have to test it on the animals. See, the antigens what we have developed, and with the adjuvants, means these are the supporting material. So all together we have to infect on the animals and check. Then it will go for clinical testing, where it is tested on actual people. Preclinical testing will be taking up to 5 to 10 years, and in the clinical, a small group of risky population will be taken, then a large group of population will be taken in the second phase. In the third phase, both infected and common population will be taken. So approximately each phase will take 3 years. Once it passes all this, then only the it can be licensed and brought to the market. So actually it's a nearly 15 years process. So coming to each and every stage of vaccine development, why I am explaining this, because everybody will be having question like why they are taking so much time to develop a vaccine. See, stage 1 is we have to identify the exact COVID virus. Then we have to take RNA, convert it into DNA, and then PCR should be done. The basic idea is that DNA should be mixed up with our human DNA to make a recombinant DNA. That should be multiplied, then purified. Formulation is by adding the adjuvants. Then we have to check vaccine production, how it should be stored, transport, and then immunization should be given to people. Again, here we have to see to which category of people we have to give vaccine. It's not easy to develop a vaccine and give it to all people. That too, in a country like India, it is very difficult to vaccinate each and everybody. Either government has to bear the costings or individual person. If it comes to person, for everybody it is difficult to afford for a vaccine. So this is how, see, in our virus, it will be having envelope protein, spike protein, nucleo or viral RNA will be there, and matrix protein will be there. So this is the protein. We can target anything in this and mimic the actual virus. Like we can, if we target RNA, it becomes RNA vaccines. It can be converted to DNA and then it can be put in a vector, or artificial recombinant DNA can be done, or directly we can target this protein. Then it can be used as inactivated or live attenuated vaccines. So these are all that is why there are so many research labs which are working on the vaccine. They are trying in which way the virus can be developed and how effective it will be. So coming to the conclusion, the only thing we can tell is prevention is better than cure. We cannot sit and wait for a vaccine, or we cannot bring a vaccine in a hurry to the market, because if it causes any adverse effect, it will be much more dangerous than COVID infection. So one thing is we have to develop our immune system to fight naturally against virus. If at all it infects us, then we have to take care that our body will resist the virus, and like antibodies will be produced to kick the virus out from the body. And another one, most hoping thing is the vaccine. Again, if vaccine comes also, we cannot tell that it is we are completely away from this problem. So these are the different methods from which we can combat the infection from the virus. Hope it was informative. Please watch it, share it, and subscribe, so that this also helps me to get motivated to bring more and more videos. Also comment me if you have any ideas, or if you think that I should talk on some particular topic. Always comment me. Thank you.